Turn it up in my headphones, please.
Super ghetto near you.
Street fame. More.
I'm
the boss, wits in the size, and the sits in the dot base, sits in the rock base. House in the side of the lake, a boss in the bond a day, the sob in the round the cake, the cost in the one a day. Boss in the bond, how the cost in the round down, the boss in the sign, how. Nas in the sake, by the boss in the cake, by the watch in the sake, by the sock in the day, bond in the sake, kind of cost in the lake, down the boss in the lake, down house in the sake, kind of cost in the rake, by the boss in the weights, on the hawk in the cake, cost in the case, on the hawk in the cake, on the rock in the day, round the rock in the day, bots in the baits, on the cock in the cake, on the boss in the lake, house the sign in the day, bots in the baits, on the sock in the rake, on the cost in the leg, on the stop in the bitch, stop in the sake, by the watch in the day, on the cock in the cake, by the watch in the day, watch in the sake, by the watch in the cake, hot mouse in the take, on the stop in the bay, hot in the cake, by the sick in the bay, by the bitch in the rake, down the sick in the stick, not the sick in the day, down, bitch on the sign, make the sick in the cop day, lots in the safe, on the base in the bay, how the weights in the safe, now the days in the rake, by base in the cake, how the case in the lake, down, base in the lake, how the sake in the bay, down, base in the big, now sake in the sit, by the weights in the sit, down, sake in the now, say the witch in the bomb, bait, the hits in the sock, key the kiss in the rock day, witch in the sock, and the bitch in the cock, the dick in the knots, and the sick in the rock, bitch, and sick in the cop, dick and dick in the cop, bitch in the sock day, watch in the sock day, the boss in the lot day, hop in the rock day, the cost in the cop day, the boss in the lot, down the house in the rock day, watch on the bar, down the box on the cop, down the cost on the bar, down the boss on the knock, house on the boss, on the boss, on the car, the cost on the bar, down the boss, on the stop, on the bar, on the car, on the top, on the knock, house on the bar, by the sock, on the car, on the knock, boss on the bar, down the Ross in the sun, on the cots in the car, now the rock in the car, now. Sold the bar, sold the bar, bold the car, cold in the car, cold the car, sold in the bar. Now it's a bitch in the solid, been the kiss in the raw, the better solid, the bar, the bitch hot in the rock, the cost in the car, the bitch hot in the rock, the sign, dock in the bond, dollar, Ross in the sign, hot, bond in the rock, hot, the sop in the rock, down the cost in the nine, bond, the sop in the rock, bond in the side, day, the Ross in the car, day, the sop, the bond, say the rock in the rock, say the rock in the rock, say the cop in the car, day, the boss in the knot, on the sop in the hot, house in the bond, and boss in the down in the rock in the sound, then boss in the knot, boss in the con, the cave, then rock, bay, the side, then the con, day, and boss in the bond, day, boss in the lake, down the side, the sake, rob the cost in the cake, bond the boss in the day, now, boss in the body day. Boss on the side, bold the house in the rock, bold the cost in the con, hold the knots in the dot, bold the bots in the sign, bait the house in the rock, hold the cost in the bond, say the rock in the bond, hold. Now I say the side, bait the rod, bait the con, K the con, say the rod, bait the boss, say the rod, bait the boss in the knock, K the con, say the rod, bait, rod, say the rod, in the sop, in the con, the cost in the rod, in the sop, in the boss, in the rock, in the con, the boss, say the boss in the knock, K the cost in the dot, bait the Ross in the sop, bait the cost in the con, lay, hot in the bob, bait the boss in the bob, bait the Ross in the sop, bait, rod, hold the rod, sold the combo, the rod, hold the knot, sold the con, cold the combo, the rod, sold the bot on the hot, sold the rock, hold the combo, the boss, sold the knot, hold the rod, sold the sock, K the boss, sold the rock, K the boss, sold the cock, K the boss, sold the knot, bait the beta, boss and die beta, cost and a latte. High soul the rock, hold the cost, hold the block, hold the boss on the nine, hold the boss on the nine, hold the cost on the rock, on the boss on the rock, hold the nine home. High soul the block, hold the nine home. Nine soul the rock, the cock, hold the cock, blow the rock, soul the block, hold the nine, hold the cock, soul the rock, on the hop, on the rock, on the side, on the hot, on. Side boots, a lot on the cost on the bar, hold the rock, stove side, say the boss, hold the bar, they the knots, hold the side, they the hot, sold the car, they hot, sold the bar, the boss on the bar, they the boss on the side, on the cop, on the bar, they rock on the card, on the side, on the bar, they boss and the cost and the boss and the bar, they the rocks and the con, they the side and the bar, they the boss and the rock, the cost and the line, they boss and rock and cost and conde. Nas and say, brown the boss and bay, high the boss and say, I kinda cost and day, nah. Oh, Baba. boss in the lake now. Sign a roll, bond a boat, sign a cold kind of Bossa and Bay Ho, Lassa and Say Bona, Bossa and K Ho. Soda line, hold out the cold, cotton roll, solid boulder, live bone, how the whole solid roll, solid bowl, dollar, whole collar, cold, lot of roll, solid roll, dollar. Wanna soul down the solid bowl, constant, kind of roll, docking and buying the hole, buying the baby, and all the say, Ross and the collar, kind of waving, and all the baby, all the sake in the ray, Ross and the say, Ross and the day, ho. Stop and say, when I'm buying the baby, Ross and the Ross and the kind of day. Not a safe and the sideways and boss and the bar on the hate and that kind of day. While the sake and the round the boat house and the round the cold cost and the down hole. Not a sake and the bond tape with the side day and the bus and the ride day. While the sake and the side day with the kind of day and the bus and the line day. While the sake and the side day with the side day and the house and the line day. Sideways and a vibe, baby, the side, baby, and cuss and a live day. While the beat around the silent cheek, house and a body, decon and a line of cheek. Not a seed and solid weed, something and bound and beat, something and kind of key. Kind of weeds and a bond with the sign G, then busting and line T. Not seed and side weed with the bust day, and busting and rock G. While the soul this on the boat, causing a kind of road sign and bond a hoe. While the bass and the bottle says, house and how the lake, house and the kind of way. How the bass and the bottle say, busting a how the lake, ducking and not a say. Not a say, this on baby, this on date, and busting and not day. While day and I say, this on baby, and busting a lot day. Sign holding and busting and rock bone. So then bustin' a ride home. I hate that something and ride day with a bus day and bustin' a ride day. I speed and bustin' a side cheek with a car speed and bustin' a 90. While the seat inside the weed child and inside the cheek bustin' and out the seat. Side the cheek and by the key bustin' a lot of seat button and collar beat. While I say inside beat this side and bustin' a ride beat. By bathing, by the day, bustin' a lot of day, bustin' a kind of day. While the sake in the side of the bay, bustin' a lot of day. I'll say that side day, then bustin' a lot of day with a side waving, bustin' a kind of day. I'll soaking and Bible with a Bible and bustin' a nine-hole. By bathing, bustin' a high day with a side waving, bustin' a nine-day. Goodbye cheating and bustin' a side cheating. Round G and bustin' and line G. Die away to that bustin' a high day with the side baby, then bustin' and 9 day. By sinking and sun and bond day with a bus then rustin' and kind day. Soccer waiting and by the sake with the side waiting and bustin' a high day. Not the same and cussin' a lot of day. Bustin' and rockin' and cussin' and bond day. While the sake and bay ho, watchin' and day ho. I said, say ho, I say can't be ho, I said big ho. My bass and my baby, side baby, I said top baby, my baby. I say and bustin' a lot day with the sound beat, then bustin' a high day. All the beats and about the sea house and about the cheek house and about the G. bay ho. Banging bots in the safe bone. Knots in the day, solid bots in the cake, kinda watts in the bay, Honda sock in the day, kinda water in the body, safe water in the body, day hotter in the side of lake, and cops in the rider day, water in the safe, hold the water in the bay, hold water in the safe, on the bots in the lake, home, water in the safe, on the house in the cake, kinda cops in the lake, by the bots in the day, watts in the safe, Honda cops in the lake, down the bots in the bay, Honda watts in the lake, bots in the safe, hold the cops in the bay, on the rocks in the safe, on the cops in the lake, hold, hot in the safe, hot the house in the bay, by the rocks in the safe, by the bots in the cake, hot the rocks in the bay, by the bots in the way, hot the sock in the bay, bots in the cake, hot the bots in the bay, watts in the bay, hot the house in the safe, down the dots in the lake, hot the bots in the safe, bots in the ridge, hold the sock in the bay, hold bots in the cake, on the house in the ridge, hold wild in the safe, on the house in the day, hold the house in the safe, on the cops in the cake, on the bots in the day, on the bots in the day, on the knots in the safe, wild the cops in the cake, throw the house in the lake, home wild in the sock day, the bots in the rock day, knots in the car, the cake, bots in the bar day, wild in the safe, on the wild in the cake, hold the cops in the lake, home the bots in the bay, home wild in the safe, on the bots in the day, on the house in the cake, on the bots in the day, on the house in the day, knots in the safe, roll the cops in the bay, throw the watts in the safe, on the house in the day, home wild in the lake, by the side in the way, caught the cop in the day, caught the rock in the safe, caught the cops in the bay, by the watts in the safe, by the house in the cake, by the watts in the lake, dots in the safe, roll the house in the bay, caught the cops in the cake, roll them bots in the day, home not in the safe, hide the house in the day, by the watts in the safe, caught the cops in the lake, down the house in the bay, by the watts in the lake, watts in the safe, home the bots in the lake, down in the safe, roll the bots in the way, whole house in the lake, caught the cops in the bay, both bots in the safe, on the house in the day, roll house in the way, side the sock in the cake, caught the cops in the day, by the watts in the safe, by the bots in the hay, by the cops in the cake, by the dots in the way, by the bots in the safe, side the sock in the bay, caught the cops in the way, caught the bots in the lake, watts in the safe, caught the cops in the bay, down the dots in the bay, on the house in the way, side they the bots in the bay, on the house in the safe, then caught the bay, the bots in the line day, watts in the safe, hold the house in the cake, hold the cops in the way, on the lots in the day, knots in the safe, hold the house in the bay, home bots in the lake, hold the sock in the way, hold bots in the safe, on the bots in the day, on the cops in the day, home the lots in the way, watts in the safe, on the house in the cake, on the cops in the day, on the bots in the day. I see them bustin' out there, the content, and bustin' out there, the something, and bustin' content. I'm so the lie holding bottle, shadow, and bustin' right boom. My soul and lie holding, bustin' right hold the something, and bustin' car hold the kaji, bustin' Naji, the side chain, and bustin' kaji, the white tank, bustin' Hossin' ring, hold this up, banging and bustin' and can't hold it, not bait. Bustin' a high save, this I bait. Five boats and riding so hustlin', a lot of soul bustin' and dollar hole rustin' and sock tame. This up banging and bustin' and cop tame with a nice beat. Bustin' and side beat with a side tame and bustin' and cop beat and vice. Bustin' and side day with a side beat and bustin' and rock day. How the car roll down the side out the boulder, high hold out the road, the side of the boulder, on the go the bomb bowl down the hold the con, hold down the soda, now the boats on the boulder, ride the cold on the cold, ride soak on the cold, car the boat side of hold the ride dose on the boat high, hold on the boat, ride the boat side of no car the cold side of road by the boat side of no by, roll on the boat side of road out the soak on the cold, ride the boat by the whole side of cold side of dough by the post, now the soul by the road by the boat, car the cold by the boat side of no high, whole side of road, car the cold side of road by the boat, slide the soul, car the cold, ride the boat out the soul high, the road high, the soul high, boat. Bombing inside the G, the Ross and the body G, house and the cotton G, knocking inside the beat, boss and the she, hold the cost and the rebo, the hop in the bottle, be the house and the not the sea, boss and the body G, cost and inside the G, boss and the same, bowl, the house and the rainbow, the house and the take over, the soft and the bait, so the sock and the race, boss and the bait, on the boss and the lay, ho, house and the cake, bone, the soft and the day, bone, the house and the bay, bone, the house and the day, boss and the beat, hold the house and the cheeks, ho, house and the rig, bone, the boss and the cheek, ho, house and the safe, bone, the house and the day, bone, the ross and the day, hone the cost and the bay, bone, the ross and the day, watch and the day, hone the sauce and the cake, hone the ross and the beat, hone the ross and the cheek, hold the cost and the rig, bone, nas and the safe, bone, the boss and the day, bone, the house and the day, so the cost and the ray, bone, the boss and the day, watch and the say, hone the house and the lay, by the beat, out the side, the weak side, and the cottage, boss and the body, cheek, house and the lot of cheek, nas and the body, boss and the cottage, key, cost and the dollar beat, boss and the not a cheek, boss and the water, cheek, house and the lot of sea, boss and the body, cheek, boss and the hot to see, boss and the hot to cheek, house and the solid cheek, boss and the water beat, not in the side of weak, house and the cottage, boss and the body, cheek, house and the sea, Joe, the cost and the cheek, the house and the beach, the cost and the rebo, boss and the cheek, so the sauce and the rebo, cost and the cheek, on the house and the cheek, house and the reach, on the side and the cheek, on the house and the nape, on the house and the tape, on the boss and the cave, on the house and the bait, boss and the bass, so the rock and the cake, hold the cost and the lay, the boss and the naho, ride and the say, by the hide and the bait, cod the cod in the day, by the bars and the waist, side the sock and the cheek, by the house and the rebound, the house and the cheek, the house and the say, by the cost and the way, by the boss and the cake, got the loss and the day, by the house and the waist, side the boss and the day, hide the cost and the waist, side the box and the J, cod and the cake, by the boss and the reach, side the stop and the beat, down the house and the lead, house and the niece, by the boss and the cheek, by the house and the reach, hide the sock and the cheek, down, by the reach, hide the side and the cheek, down the toss and the beat, hide the ross and the cheek, house and the weight, hold the boss and the lay, hold the toss and the rake, bone the boss and the day, bow, wild and the steak, hide the bod and the J, ride the side and the check, hide the cod in the way, bond the dock in the bay, side the house and the lake, side the boss and the day, bond the house and the ray, bond and the snake, bond the hide and the lay, side and the day, bond the hope, bond the rock in the day, boss and the say, sign the sign of the week. How the cost and the beat, down the Ross and the G, down the Ross and the G. Cost and the week, how the boss and the beat, down the house and the